What's going on, Orlando Magic fans? Welcome to the Six Man Show Postgame Live, presented by Thrivent. Magic fall. Ouch. Oh, man. Magic lose 107-106 in Toronto in a heartbreaker. I don't even know if heartbreaker is the right term to use, but Magic led by as many as 21 in this game and fall short at the buzzer. At the hands of the Toronto Raptors, a team that you are directly competing for in the standings. So this hurts on multiple levels. You blow the lead, you lose the game, you lose a whole game in the standings when it comes to Toronto. And so, yeah, this is a tough one. Really, really tough one. Disappointing in a lot of different ways. But looking forward to talking through it with all of you. Appreciate you being here. This is the Six Man Show Postgame Live. It's our live postgame show here on YouTube after each and every Orlando Magic game. There's a bajillion of you with us already and still more showing up. I think a lot of Magic fans have a lot of feelings tonight after that one. Some good. Some guys played better than they have recently. Some not so good, and ultimately, obviously, not happy with blowing a 21-point lead. But first, this show is brought to you by Thrivent. Marc.Abraham is a financial advisor with Thrivent, and he's also a die-hard Orlando Magic fan and season ticket holder. He and his family go to most games, and they love the Magic just as much as you and I. And so they are out to help Orlando Magic fans be wise with their money. And so if you find yourself in a position where you could use somebody, a little bit of advice, a little bit of insight into finances, Marc.Abraham is the guy you want to call at 407-366-4364, or his email address and website are down in the description below. He wants to help people be wise with their money, whether that's investing, debt elimination, or anything in between. And so give him a call, shoot him an email. I know Mark would love to help you out, and at the very least, just maybe talk a little bit of Magic basketball. Big shout out to Mark and Thrivent for sponsoring the show. Ouch. Man, this one hurts. Paolo bounces back really nicely in this one. Wasn't perfect, but certainly was improved from what we've seen basically for ever since he's come back from the injury. But man, had a look there at the end. It felt storybook to me, right? Has obviously had a tough season. Plays well tonight. Gets the ball at the end of the game. You're missing a ton of guys, and that could be the moment. And unfortunately, it just was not meant to be. I'd like to give Toronto some credit, which I don't enjoy doing, but as much as it's easy to sit here and say the Magic choked, which I think they did, I also think this was an impressive response by Toronto. Second night of a back-to-back for them. I thought they took it just as much as the Magic gave it away, and that might be controversial. Some people might not like that opinion, but I think it's true. I think Toronto really amped it up in the second half on both ends, but especially the defensive end. And they made life really, really difficult for the Magic, and I think that last possession was a perfect, snapshot of that. Like, obviously, everybody wants to see Paolo put his head down and go to the rim, get in the paint, whatever. But Scotty Barnes is obviously one of the best defenders in the game. And so he said, nah, I'm going to force you into a tough step back. And ultimately, it wasn't a horrible look. Like, Paolo got a decent look, had enough space between him and Scotty Barnes, but it just wasn't meant to be. So tough stuff. But want to hear all about it from you guys tonight. Get involved in the chat. That's what the show is all about. We read every single super chat, and so if you want to get involved in the show, super chat's the way to go. Otherwise, we'll hit a few of the messages in the chat as well. And then lastly, hit the like button while you're here. If you appreciate the content that we put out covering this team, the like button goes a long way. All right, we'll start with our super chats. As always, Matthew Thomas says, a Paolo 3 to end the game. Are you serious? I'm so livid. Look, it's tough. I mean, the Raptors made it so difficult, especially in the second half, getting to the rim, right? Or even getting close to the rim, right? Again, they've got such good defenders over there. And obviously, you put Scotty Barnes on Paolo, and now 6 seconds is a long time. So I would have loved to see something other than just straight up ISO. Like, I would have loved to see Paolo get a screen and maybe be able to either get someone else on him other than Scotty Barnes, or be able to lose Scotty Barnes for just a step so that Paolo can get a little bit closer, either get to the rim or even a mid-range jumper. I'd take that over a 3, right? So that is disappointing to me. But by the time the 2-3 seconds are gone after the ball is inbounded, you have to go in the ISO mode. And unfortunately, Scotty Barnes isn't going to let much else happen other than a step back three, which is tough. Yeah, it's not ideal. I definitely agree with you there. Thanks for that super chat. Mr. TV, who is a channel member, shout out all of our channel members who support the show, says, when you don't take advantage of the bonus. Yeah, that's another thing. Raptors in the bonus for a large chunk of this game, or the fourth quarter, excuse me, and the Magic just could not buy a bucket offensively. And again, part of that goes to the Raptors defense, played great defense, and then didn't allow the Magic to get them further into foul trouble. But yeah, it's not great. Jalen Lawson with the super chat says, gotta stop playing accidental basketball on offense. Yeah, again, the offense was just not great in that fourth quarter. Lost sanity with the super chat. Appreciate that. And then comes right back with another one who says 2 timeouts, entire fourth quarter. Bad coaching. I agree. I did not like waiting to use the timeout until the game was tied. Did not like that at all. Did not like that. Thought that was a mistake. I agree. Meh says Kaiser Soze would have done a better job at coaching. Two jokes in one there. Love it. Love it. Moves with Mackie with the super chat says, what type of haul could we get for P5? Holy smokes, man. Oh my gosh. Dude goes out there, gets you a triple-double on not terrible shooting numbers, and we're talking about trading him. Come on now. Come on. Get out of here with that. I know he's struggling, but you could have said that on Friday or Saturday. Don't come in here with that after he drops a triple-double. And, yeah, I don't know. I'll let you handle the trade machine with that one, Moves with Mackie. You let me know what you find. Dumps with a very generous super chat and also a channel member. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Says, been sitting here typing up negativity about coach to say in this message, but I'm going to keep it to myself. Just want to support the six-man show instead. Go Magic. Wow, Dumps, that's very, very kind of you on both fronts. First off, for supporting what we do here. Really grateful for that and for the kind words. And then the other part of your message, you know, as they say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. You're choosing that route when it comes to the coaching, and I can respect that as well. So thanks so much for the generous super chat. Let's see. We've got more super chats coming in here. This one's from Pelicans Palace. It says, Mosley doesn't call timeout when we get the rebound and lets Jones dribble for days. Nothing there. Paolo had to call the timeout. Garbage coaching. Yeah, that was an interesting choice. On the one hand, I can understand it because the offense was so bad in the fourth quarter and you're down Desmond Bane. I can understand, hey, let's push the ball and see if we can catch Toronto's defense out. You know, don't let them have time to set up. But that should have been realized very quickly. And I think it was slow on the timeout. I have no problem with pushing it and seeing how the Raptors react. But we pushed it and then took a couple more seconds off the clock afterwards, you know? And so I agree. That was kind of disappointing. But, yeah, you still had 6 seconds, right? So I don't want to sit here and say the Magic ended up with a second left because of this mistake. Like 6 seconds is still a lot of time, but would 8 seconds have been better? I'd like to think so. I'd like to think at 8 seconds you at least get a screen for Paolo or something. But, yeah, that was tough. Thanks for that super chat. Ty Mr. TV says, love the bounce back P5, but someone please help me understand, why does our offense stall out seemingly always in the second half? Is it team IQ? Are we tired? Is coaching not mixing it up enough? I have a few thoughts. I think there might be a little bit of everything. I thought, similarly to the Magic's performance Saturday against Denver, one of the things we talked about after that game was I felt the officials let the Magic be more physical in the second half than they were in the first half. And that directly impacted how the Magic were able to play and ultimately how the Magic were able to come back in that game. I felt the exact same way in the second half tonight. On the opposite end, though, I thought Toronto, who has a lot of great defenders, as was talked about on the broadcast, I thought Toronto were able to defend with a little more physicality than in the first half. And that, in turn, led to them being able to mount the comeback. And that's not me complaining about the officiating. I largely didn't really have a problem with the officiating tonight. In fact, I actually think the Magic benefited from the out of bounds call with, I don't remember how much time was left. It was less than a minute, 20, 30 seconds, whatever it was. I think that was Toronto ball. They didn't show a replay on the Magic broadcast, obviously, but looking at it in real time, it looked like it was Raptors ball. Oh wait, they did show one replay, and when I saw that replay, it looked like it should have been Raptors ball. But anyway, I think that was part of it. I think another thing that can't be ignored is the lack of weapons on this team offensively, right? Because of who's injured. We can't forget that Franz is still out. We can't forget that Jalen Suggs is still out, and Jalen Suggs may not be a weapon in the same sense as Powell or Franz, but on any given night, Jalen Suggs can be a significant offensive weapon. Anthony Black obviously had a great game tonight. Once again, another 20 points for him, 27 for AB tonight. But it wasn't, I'll put it this way. I felt like he forced a few things tonight, in part because he's obviously on fire right now, and so I don't blame him, but also in part because there wasn't a whole lot happening elsewhere. And then you add to it that down the stretch of this game, Desmond Bane is out, right? Obviously, everyone knew he was out for some kind of injury, and they ended up announcing in the final, right before the final possession, that it was back spasms. And so all of that combined, it's already an uphill battle offensively for this team in certain situations, and then you add those things all together. I think it's just a mixture of all those things. Is it an IQ thing? I don't know. Again, you're playing against a Toronto team that has a lot of really good defenders, and you lacked weapons down the stretch in this game. It was Paolo, and that's it, right? I mean, Anthony Black obviously has been on fire lately, but he's still not respected in that way by defenses. And so Magic had to run through Paolo, and down the stretch, it was just really, really tough. I mean, think about the 5 that were on the floor in crunch time of this game. It was because Wendell fouled out. It was Goga, Paolo, AB, Tyus Jones, Tristan da Silva. In an ideal world where the Magic are healthy, 4 of those guys are not on the floor in that situation. Like, the Magic are being forced right now to do some really unconventional things and things that are really not comfortable. And I think ultimately all of those things combined, I think, are what led to some of the offensive struggles we saw in the fourth quarter. That was a really long answer to your short question, but that's just some of the things I was processing as we watched the end of this game. And again, I looked at that 5 on the floor and I was like, holy smokes. This is a 5 on the floor minus Paolo that you put out there when you're up 20 with a minute left, not when it's a 1-possession game with a minute left. Like, we were down bad for sure. MJ Lovecraft says that 3 was not option number 1. They must have blown up whatever they drew up. Should have called a timeout earlier. Mose continues to not call timeouts when we need. Yeah, I think that's totally possible that was not the first option. Would not surprise me at all. Again, I really wanted to see some kind of action where Powell gets a screen either to shake off Scotty Barnes and switch somebody else, or just to get a step on Scotty and try to get to the rim or at least to the paint. And so, yeah, that was disappointing. And yeah, we talked about it earlier, but yeah, the timeout thing was a little strange, a little bit strange. Thanks for that super chat. And then fellow Kevin, says, sit Bane against the Pacers. We can't lose him too. Yeah, back spasms are always interesting, right? Like, for some guys, it's a one-night thing, and he'll be fine on Wednesday. For other guys, back spasms can be recurring days, weeks at a time, right? Where you kind of go through spells of back spasms. And so that's going to be interesting. Sitting him against Indiana, I mean, I think if he's healthy, I'd love to see him get out there. Indiana lost again tonight by a lot, or at least they were losing by a lot. I shouldn't count my chickens before they hatch. Let me see what they're still going. Okay, they're only down 18 now. They have outscored the Rockets by 9 in the fourth quarter. There's only 2.5 minutes left, so that game does look over. Now it's 16. I got to be careful. 16 with 2.5 minutes left. Yeah, it's over. But yeah, they continue to struggle, but I will not take any opponent for granted right now, given the state of the Magic, as far as health goes. If you don't play Desmond Bane on Wednesday, you're jeopardizing even more, not just the starters, but then the second unit gets compromised again. So I don't know. Obviously, if he's not able to play, that's different. But if he's like leaning towards being okay to play, I'd rather send him out there. That's just me. But we'll see. There's 150 of you with us at 10:17 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for being here on this always strange week between holidays. There's a lot of different things you could be doing on this Monday night, so I appreciate all of you who are with us live, and whether you're watching it now or you're watching it later, please hit that like button. It helps other Orlando Magic fanatics find our content. Man, I really wanted to win this game. Number one, because I just don't like the Raptors. You know, Magic fans who've been around for a while haven't liked the Raptors for a really long time, even though the rosters have changed and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's still just some bad blood, I think, from Magic fans to like the Raptors organization and some Raptors fans, and I don't know. It's a whole thing. So I wanted to beat them, but also I wanted to beat them because they're a good basketball team this season, better than I think a lot of people expected. I think if we're fully healthy, this game isn't a problem. The Raptors will come back and say they weren't fully healthy. Obviously, they were without Jakob Poeltl and RJ Barrett tonight, but give me the guys we're missing over the guys they're missing, quite frankly. So yeah, I hope we have some better opportunities against them when we're fully healthy. Jalen Lawson with the super chat says best way to guard us is scoring the half court offense. Okay. I got to break this up into the sentences. Best way to guard us is scoring. The offensive, I can't read. Best way to guard us is scoring. The half-court offense is trash. There you go. Read through it. Yeah, I mean, the half-court offense right now, especially down the stretch without a Desmond Bane, without a Franz Wagner, with, you know, Tyus Jones and Tristan Da Silva and Anthony Black out there. Yeah, it's not great. Everybody's just totally drawn to Paolo, and rightfully so. But before we go to the chat, the rest of the chat tonight, I mean, yeah, I think Paolo's worth mentioning. We've been on this show and the podcast many times over the last couple of weeks and talked about how poor he's been. Tonight he was not poor. He was very good. I mean, obviously the scoring could always be higher, but he shot at an okay percentage. Obviously shot the 3 ball well, 3 of 4 from the line, but you add 15 boards, 10 assists, and only 1 turnover. To me, that's just huge. He still only got to the free throw line 4 times, which is just not enough. If you're Paolo Banchero, like we know how Paolo Banchero's optimal play style is, and 4 free throws is just not good enough. But part of that is, again, the Raptors have a lot of guys that can defend a guy like Paolo pretty well. And so I think that was part of it. But shout out Paolo. Big time bounce back game from him. And again, it just felt storybook, like he was going to knock down that game winner and then sets himself on a course to ascension the rest of the season, but it just wasn't meant to be. All right, let's go to the chat. We'll pick a few of these out tonight and see what we're looking at. Matthew Thomas says rebounding. My goodness. Yeah, you give up 21 offensive rebounds to the Toronto Raptors. 7 of them were at the hands of Colin Murray Boyles. Like, crazy stuff on the offensive glass. Some of the rebounds you were just out physical, right? Like that's kind of how it goes. Some of them were just mad scrambles for the ball off of long rebounds, and they just happened to go certain ways. The really frustrating ones, I mean, they had 2 or 3 possessions where they got like 3 or more offensive rebounds. I think they had one possession where they had 4 offensive rebounds if you count missed shots, and then I think they got one off of a free throw on the same possession. I don't remember, but I mean, there were several possessions where it was multiple offensive rebounds in the same possession, and that'll just crush your morale too. That's tough. Yeah, Edison continues the rebounding conversation, says, what's the deal with boxing out? Do we even practice it anymore? Because right now, it looks like we need a full practice, no drills, just box out. Yeah, it's similar to what we talked about this weekend. If this is a one-off night, you just shrug and move on. But this is a continuing trend for this team to give up a lot of offensive rebounds, and that's not great. Not great. Pissed off Magic fan says, if we're up 20, that's a good time to place a bet on the opponent. Rip. Yeah, not great. Not great at all. Several people mentioning Jamal Mosley. We've talked a lot about that already. Mamba says, why no Bane late? Terrible coaching. Guys, Desmond Bane was hurt. Desmond Bane was hurt at the end of this game. That is why he was not in the game until the last 6 seconds. And honestly, credit Desmond Bane for even trying to come back for the last 6 seconds, because back spasms are no joke. And so, yeah, that's why. Again, just add it to the list. This team is absolutely reeling with injuries right now. And so why not add another one to it? Why not add a third starter out of this game? And maybe out for longer. Like we said, back spasms, you never know. You never know. I think we just got a super chat. We did. This one is from Sanford, Florida. Snoops, thank you so much for that super chat. Really, really appreciate you and supporting the channel. Let's see. Only Mel says easiest game to win and we lose. I don't know about that. That's a little, I don't know. In some ways, second I have a back-to-back, I get it. They're missing RJ Barrett and Jakob Poeltl. I get it. That's still a good team, though. I don't want to say it's the easiest game to win. I would argue Friday against Charlotte, that was the easiest game to win, and we lose. Tonight, it's still a very good team. It's one of the toughest places to play in the league. Toronto is loud, tough environment. I know it sounds like I'm making excuses, but I'm just trying to pull us back off the ledge a little bit. That was not a gimme game. That was not a gimme game. I don't think any game against Toronto is necessarily a gimme right now this season. I think they're good, especially the way they play and the personnel they have matches well with this version of the Magic tonight. Again, I think if we have Franz, we have Desmond, actually out there, we have Jalen out there, I think we're in better shape tonight. But we'll see. We'll see in the future, hopefully. Seth Berry says they should have never come back, but refs gave them 5 points and we lost by 1. Refs gave them 5 points. I'm trying to think about what possession you might be referring to or what moment. If someone knows, Seth, if you're still with me, or if someone knows what Seth's referring to, let me know in the chat because I'm trying to remember what possession you're referring to. I'm blanking on that one. Only Hero says, positive note, Powell looked like his old self first 3 quarters. Yeah, he did. And then to your point, the shots in the fourth quarter, most of them were short again, which is the same thing we've been hearing or been seeing this season. And so that was a little disappointing. But like you said, hey, he was Paolo for 3 quarters. That's more than we've had Paolo look like Paolo lately. So, man, a lot of Mosley hate in the chat tonight. Fascinating. Very, very interesting. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Kevin says, why is Jamal Cain getting so many minutes? Woof. Tonight he plays 12 minutes. Yeah. It's tough. I mean, this team is strapped right now, right? Like, you got to play somebody. You don't want to go out there and, I mean, I guess you could play 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 11 guys played tonight. I thought it was only 10, including Jamal Cain. So 11 guys played. Noah only played 5.5 minutes. Noah did not look great out there, and I think that's why he only played 5.5 minutes. But let's say you don't play Jamal Cain. If you're trying to go 10 deep, then you're playing Noah that same type of number of minutes, right? 10 to 15. Yeah, I don't know. Like, they're stuck. Jonathan Isaac. That's the guy I was forgetting. He played 30 seconds tonight. Yeah. Which is that's a whole different conversation. Like, I feel like we could have gotten some good minutes from Jonathan Isaac, considering the opponent. Like, you don't think Jonathan Isaac could have had some burn on Brandon Ingram or Scotty Barnes? Like, yeah, he's built to defend those guys, and he played well Saturday, and then he turns around and plays 30 seconds tonight. That's just very interesting to me. But going back to Jamal Cain, yeah, and it's no disrespect to Jamal Cain, great guy, a solid two-way type player. But if he's having to play double-digit minutes in games against teams at the top of the Eastern Conference, like, that is just tough. It's tough. It's hard to watch. And again, it's just another indication of where this team is health-wise. And, man, it is tough. Tough. All right, we'll hit a couple more of these from the chat, and then we will go over to the box score as we always do. Matthew Garfinkel says, you guys remember for a year and a half when we were clutch? I mean, that's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction because 48 hours ago, we were pretty clutch. A different type of clutch, right? Like, obviously, it wasn't a Paolo Banchero big bucket or, whatever. It was Desmond Bane at the free throw line. It was, I mean, we had some clutch moments down the stretch of that game, obviously, but you got a big clutch stop at the end of that one at the buzzer. And then tonight, not great. Not great there down the stretch. We did just get another super chat from Sanford, Florida, Snoops, who says, do you think Anthony Black is in our big three? Wow. No, I don't, but he's 21. Of all the guys that are in the core of this team, he's the youngest, right? And I think Jason and Noah could eventually make their way into the quote-unquote core. I think they're not quite there. Obviously, they're only 33 games into their careers or whatever, so we don't know what we have. But of the key guys on this team, Anthony Black is the youngest. And so there's a long runway for Anthony Black ahead, right? A lot of things he could become. But right now, I don't think he's in our big three. I think Powell and Franz are obvious. I think the argument for the third big three depends on the night and depends on what the Magic need. Desmond Bane, most nights, will be that third person in the big three, but sometimes Jalen Suggs, I think he can be there. And then sometimes, sure, some nights maybe Anthony Black will be considered the third of the big three, but I don't think it'll be. I don't think he's, when you think about the grand scheme of the franchise, he's not in the big three for me yet. For me. All right, let's go over to the box score and fight our way through this one. Wendell. Oh, wait, he's not first. It's Desmond. Desmond with 18 and 6 and 3 assists and a block. 6 of 18 from the field. Not good. Got blocked at least 3 times at the rim tonight, maybe more. For a guy that's very good at finishing at the rim and crafty layups and all that kind of stuff, was unable to do that consistently tonight because the Raptors were just all over it. And it's crazy. He's 6 of 18 tonight, and one of those was a miraculous rainbow over the backboard to make him 6 of 18. And so if that one misses, he's 5 of 18, which he probably should have been. But yeah, not a good shooting night from him. 1 of 4 from 3 as well. Just need Desmond Bane to play better offensively. And again, I know Toronto's tough. I just need him to find a way. Powell, we've talked about him a lot. Obviously, triple-double, 23, 15, and 10 for him with only 1 turnover. It's just terrific. Fine shooting numbers, really good three-point shooting numbers. Obviously, missed the one that you really want to see at the end, but really, really good bounce-back game from Powell. Would love to see him continue that on Wednesday. And we'll talk more about Wednesday's game in just a moment. But Wendell, 9 and 6, 2 assists, a steal, a block. Fouled out of this game, 31 minutes. Not Wendell's best game. I did have a big bucket late in this one to stop the bleeding. But obviously the first thing, rightly or wrongly, if you get absolutely outworked as a team on the offensive glass, the first person you're going to blame is the center. And it's not always the center's fault, but I do think part of the blame tonight could go to Wendell Carter Jr. for giving up 21 offensive rebounds. I think part of that blame would be fair. That's pretty disappointing. Anthony Black continues to be on a tear, 27 tonight. He had 38 on Saturday. And what did he have Friday? 24, 27, something like that? 28? I don't remember. But yeah, he's just been on fire for the last 3 games. I mean, he's been really, really good. 27 and 3 for him with a steal. Did have 4 turnovers, 32 minutes. Didn't shoot the ball as well as he did on Saturday, obviously, but still a nice night from him. Tyus Jones, 10 points for him with 4 boards and 2 assists. Jonathan Isaac, we just talked about him, only played 30 seconds. That one's a little interesting to me. Tristan Da Silva plays 26 minutes, gets 6 points and 6 boards. Goga, welcome back, Goga. 2 points and 5 boards for him. Jace Richardson played 19, almost 20 minutes, had 7 points, 3 boards, and 4 assists for Jace Richardson. He was part of that stretch where the Magic were passing the ball really well. Noah Penda, we talked about him, just played 5 minutes, only scored 1 point, was not the best Noah Penda outing. And then Jamal Cain, 12 minutes for him. Magic shot 40% from the field and 28% from 3. Not great. They had 15 offensive rebounds and turned the ball over only 8 times. Another really low turnover game for the Magic. They've had a lot of those lately, which that is very good. Unfortunately, though, the Raptors had 7 players in double figures tonight. Yikes. Compared to the Magic's 4. Yeah, 7. Very well-rounded offensive performance for the Raptors tonight. And again, the big number for them, 21 offensive rebounds. They did not shoot the ball well at all either. Just 39% from the field, 23% from 3. But again, 21 offensive rebounds will do a lot for you. They had 8 more shots than the Magic tonight. And let's see, they shot 29 free throws to the Magic 27 free throws. So yeah, pretty even there. Looking at some of the team stats tonight, Magic win the first quarter by 11 and then did not win another quarter after that. They tied in the second. They lost the third. And then the fourth quarter, the Magic only scored 12 points in the fourth quarter. I did not realize it was that bad. 12 points in the fourth quarter for the Magic. They get outscored 23-12. Yeah, that's abysmal. That's really, really bad. They give up 58 points in the paint and 29 fast break points. Good grief. Only 6 for the Magic. That is really bad. That is horrible. The Magic have been better this season at getting out and running, often in double figures. Tonight, they only score 6 and they give up 29 fast break points. That is insane. Magic led by as many as 20. Only got 19 bench points. The bench was bad, but again, the bench is bad because the best bench players are having to start right now. So just kind of the way it is. And again, only 8 turnovers for the Magic. Yikes, man. Some of those numbers are really, really, really tough. Really, really tough. Don't love that. Man, that's tough. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and go to the scores. We're already 33 minutes into this one. We're not going to take all night. Let's go to the scores around the league, and let me refresh this, make sure it's up to date. Obviously, the Magic lose 107-106 after falling apart in the fourth. Speaking of falling apart in the fourth, the Pelicans look like they're doing just that. The Knicks now lead by 3 with 5.5 seconds to go in that one. We'll see who has the ball. Based on this, it looks like New York has the ball because it says the last play was a Miles McBride defensive rebound. So we'll see. I'll come back up to that one in just a moment. Mavericks, Blazers tip off in a little bit. Bucks beat the Hornets. Suns beat the Wizards. Warriors beat the Nets. The Miami Heat beat the Denver Nuggets by 24, but Nikola Jokic left the game in the first half with an injury. We'll keep an eye on that, obviously. But wow, yeah, the Heat pulled away. They scored, let's see, what is that? 77 plus 7. They scored 84 points in the second half. That's insane. Wow, the Bulls got blown out at home to the Timberwolves. The Pacers lose to the Rockets. Pacers host the Magic on Wednesday. Thunder beat the Hawks. And the Cavs beat the Spurs. How about that one? That one's pretty interesting. And yeah, the Knicks-Pelicans game has gone final, so the Knicks win again. Let's refresh this. The standings here, Magic, again, this was a big one for the standings. The Magic could have passed the Raptors and jumped up to the 4th seed tonight. Instead, they now trail by a game and a half behind the Raptors for that 4th seed, which is not great. Miami now tied with the Magic. Yikes. Miami is on a roll right now. Both teams 18 and 15. Magic find themselves now back, again, a game and a half behind the 4th seed and 2 games back of the 3 seed. Celtics, they will also be, it says 5 games, but it's about to be 5.5 games back of the Knicks once that game updates there. The Knicks really knocking on the door of the number 1 seed right now in the Eastern Conference. And it would not surprise me at all if they get that very soon because Detroit is not playing their best basketball right now. On the back end of that, the Magic now only up a half game on the 7 seed / play-in spots, which is not great. Looking ahead to Wednesday, early tip time. It's going to be New Year's Eve, early tip time. So a 3 p.m. tip-off in Indianapolis for the Magic. That'll be interesting. Obviously, we'll be here after that one for another post-game live. It's going to be a special one because that's also going to double as our episode of the podcast, which, of course, usually comes out Mondays and Thursdays. So Jonathan and myself will be recapping that game and talking about tonight's game as well a little bit. So that will be interesting. Definitely tune into that one. Let's see. We did get one more super chat here before we call it a night from Ajori B. He says, injuries should not affect offensive philosophy when trying to better yourself. We were promised a better offensive scheme this offseason. Something's got to change. I hear you, and I mostly agree, right? Philosophy shouldn't change. I 100% agree with that. But this philosophy, you can only implement it to a certain extent based on the talent of the people that you have available. And again, when you look at the players that had to play in the fourth quarter tonight, it's just not a recipe for good offense. It's just not. I mean, we're having to rely, and I know Anthony Black has been playing well of late, but he's still wildly inconsistent. Tristan da Silva Not exactly a go-getter on offense, a great spot-up shooter, can make things happen when you need to, but not somebody you want to count on against such a team with such good defenders as Toronto has. And so I think we're in the fourth quarter in particular, we're just very limited, but I think you're right. I mean, the philosophy shouldn't change, and I don't think that it really has. But yeah, I don't know. I have a really hard time full on judging some of the things we're seeing right now when you just think about how much offensive firepower we're missing. We're missing a ton, especially tonight in the fourth quarter without Desmond Bane, which Desmond wasn't great tonight. We already talked about that. But yeah, I don't know. Give me Franz, give me Jalen, give me Mo Wagner off the bench. And then if the offense is still a mess, I think some of those conversations could certainly be had. Thank you so much for that super chat. Thanks to everybody for the super chats tonight and for the support. Always appreciate those of you who choose to tune in. Again, whether you're watching this live right now or watching this later on your Tuesday. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Appreciate everybody who hung out with us. Again, Magic back in action Wednesday. It's an early tip-off, 3 p.m. But as soon as the game is done, Jonathan and myself will recap it and so much more. This is a tough one. A game you really wanted to win, but a good opportunity to bounce back coming up on Wednesday in Indianapolis. We'll talk to you then on New Year's Eve. But until then, let's go Magic.